You want healthy, glowing skin, but with all the products, trends, and conflicting advice, it's hard to know what actually works. I understand. I am Dr. Tina Meder, a former cardiologist and specialist in the skincare development and cosmetic safety expert. I've spent years studying the science of skin. Welcome to Meder Beauty podcast, where we uncover what really matters, break down the science, and give you real expert-backed skincare advice. Whether you're looking to achieve radiant, healthy skin, curious about anti-aging, or want to understand what's really in your product, you are in the right place. Rooted in science and the truth about what your skin actually needs, we'll have in-depth conversations with leading dermatologists, medical experts, and skincare brand founders to bring you the latest innovations, evidence-based insights, and industry secrets that truly make a difference. We are so happy you are here. So let's go. Let's discuss sensitive skin. It is one of the most common skin concerns. In the last years, I speak a lot about skin sensitivity in the professional conferences and workshops. And every time I start from the same thing, I ask practitioners how many patients with the sensitive skin they've seen in the last week. And in all countries over the world, I've had the same answer: a lot. Majority of the patients coming to the aesthetic clinics or beauty salons, they have sensitive skin. And I can say when I started my career in the mid-90s, we didn't see so much patients with a sensitive skin. It wasn't very rare, but definitely they've been less than half of patients coming to the clinic. Something happened in the beginning of 21st century, and in the last 10 or 15 years, situation has worsened so much, then I can say now we are in the middle of pandemic of skin sensitivity. Speaking from my personal experience, on our website, we see that about 70-75% of people who are going through the quiz, they diagnose themselves as people with a sensitive skin. So it is a real problem. But what we know about the sensitive skin? Paradoxically, not so much. The situation is unclear. First of all, when we are speaking about symptoms or signs of skin sensitivity, it is such a large rainbow. Literally everything. The sensitive skin can be tightened or uncomfortably tingling or pringling. It can be reddening or not. The skin barrier can be impaired. The skin can feel as dry. The skin can be oily, inflamed, or flaking. So literally all of skin discomfort can be classified somehow as a skin sensitivity. Also, this sensitivity can be triggered by a lot of different factors. It can be hot water or cold water. It can be the heat or the cold. It can be windy day, stress, some emotional reaction, spicy food, red wine, absolutely innocent hot tea or coffee, or nothing. You just feel like your skin become red and you feel this discomfort. The skin sensitivity can unexpectedly progress or manifest during some hormonal changes. A lot of women, they notice their skin become more sensitive at the end of the menstrual cycle. A lot of women notice their higher skin sensitivity during pregnancy or during menopause. So that's some hormonal factors as well. And as we know, sensitive skin running in the family. If your grandmother experienced skin sensitivity, if your mother noticed some skin sensitivity, there are higher chance then you will notice this discomfort too. And what I find very interesting is that when we speak about sensitivity of the skin, we speak mostly about the face or hands, but sensitive skin affects all other areas of the body. It can be sensitive scalp, and actually more than 70% of patients with a sensitive skin, they notice the sensitivity of their scalps too. They can be legs or arms or body or genitals, everything. Why I find it so interesting? Because we are speaking not only about open area of the skin, because with open area, it would be logical, right? Windy day and your face become more sensitive because you react to the wind. But why your abdomen or your legs or arms, they experience the same sensitivity without being exposed to the wind? It's something deeper than skin. For now, we are classifying different factors affecting the skin sensitivity. And for simplify the thing, we are speaking about internal factors and external factors. What are external factors? It's everything that affects you from outside. So it can be your lifestyle. If you don't sleep well, if you are not very active, if you spend a lot of time outdoors, or paradoxically, surprise, too much of time indoors, it increases your risk for the skin sensitivity. Obviously, diet can play a role, substance use and another bad habits, and also skincare and cosmetic. Because for me personally, I see it as probably the most valuable hypothesis today. It's an overuse of aggressive skincare, which makes our skin more sensitive. Obviously, there are a lot of other factors, and stress is one of them. But this use of the skincare speeding up the skin renewal, it affects our skin. And everything that affects your face affects your body as well, especially when you have a contact with these irritating substances on the daily basis. But also it can be the environment. Air pollution, it is a well-known factor of the skin sensitivity because, unfortunately, we live in the world when we breathe polluted air. In our air, we have too much of microparticles. Every car driving on the street gives us a portion of the microparticles from its wheels and the byproducts of the diesel and everything. Also, a lot of toxins in the air, and all of them, they affect the skin. And when something affects the open area of the skin, it has a generalized reaction with the whole body, especially when we are speaking about toxins. Ultraviolet directly damages the skin, creating the inflammation in the skin, damaging the skin barrier, and also playing the role in the development of the skin sensitivity. And different kind of climate changes, too hot, too cold. If you live in some kind of extreme climate, you have more risk of the skin sensitivity as well. But also, we can speak about our emotions. We can speak about the stress, because higher the stress level, more of stress hormones like cortisol you have circulating in your body. And all of these hormones, they are pro-inflammatory, so they can trigger the inflammation, and in the same time, they can trigger this specific reaction, which creates this large discomfort in our skin. But that's not all. There are internal factors, or sometimes we call them cutaneous factors, so factors related to the skin directly. First of them, and probably the most enigmatic, it is genetic. We know when in the family the skin sensitivity is present, you can see other members of the family affected by the skin sensitivity as well. And atopic predisposition is a well-known thing. So some people, they're just genetically predisposed to eczema, neurodermitis, psoriasis, or atopic dermatitis. But what was found in the recent research, it's the role of nervous system in the development of the skin sensitivity. And actually, it answers our questions because nervous system triggers this reaction. And probably it is a genetic predisposition from the side of the nervous system more than from the side of the skin, which makes us more sensitive. Another factor is disturbed skin barrier. It can be disturbed by external factors, obviously, if you're using the harsh soap or some acid-based skincare, or you are exposed to some chemicals. For example, you work in the hospital environment and you are contacting all the time with some chemical disinfectants or another aggressive substances or in the chemical laboratory, you have higher risk of the skin sensitivity and disturbed skin barrier. But once again, your nervous system plays a role because, as you probably notice, not everyone in the hospital has a sensitive skin. Not everyone in the chemical laboratory has sensitive skin, but some people have. And that's the role of sensory nervous system in our skin. Sensory fibers, specific receptors in our cells, and all the structures responsible for the skin information starting in the nervous structure of the skin. This kind of information we call neurogenic information or neuroinformation. A lot of factors playing a role, and it's so difficult to classify the skin sensitivity. You probably think then doctors can make the diagnosis of the skin sensitivity like we do with different kind of conditions of illness, like to say that's the sensitivity of this stage, severe or mild, or we can say that's contact sensitivity or nervous sensitivity. Actually, it is not. When I did a research about the classification, I found dozens of them. And they created by medical doctors, and sometimes it feels so desperate. For example, one of my, I will not say favorite, but one of the classification, which me personally, I use it is European classification called Nielsen-Berger. And this classification just split people in 4 groups. First group, they are patients suffering from dermatosis, so real skin conditions. Second group, they are patients also suffering from the dermatosis, but in remission. Third group, they are patients who suffered from some trauma or skin damage. In our aesthetic environment, they are patients after chemical peels or laser resurfacing. So all of them, they have sensitive skin, at least temporarily. But fourth group, it feels so desperate because this fourth group is called like everyone else, who are not included in the previous group. You find them in every classification. And it is because we don't understand clearly what happens in the skin. What we know in the recent times, and actually there's been a lot of interesting research, even with computer tomography of the brain, to see how our brain reacts to the skin irritation. And there's been a lot of research of molecular biology on the skin, and it was found that amongst people with sensitive skin, the reaction to the skin irritation going by absolutely different pathway in absolutely different area of the brain. So literally, people with resilient, non-sensitive skin, when their skin is irritated on the right side of their body, they react on the right side of the brain in the one zone of the brain, and people with a sensitive skin, they react by opposite, left side, with completely different localization. And also it was found that amongst all patients with sensitive skin, they have much higher level of the substance in the skin called neurotrophic growth factor. It's all about nervous system. Why nervous system is so much involved in the skin sensitivity and actually in everything happening in the skin? Because the skin is absolutely inseparable from the nervous system and, by the way, from immune system and endocrine system. Professor Laurent Misery from French University in Lyon first offered this hypothesis about the skin as a system, not like a separate organ. And it was proved by so many ways, but most important thing, then our skin and nervous system embryologically represent the same organ until the end of our life. Because the first 3 weeks of the embryo development, it is an organ in the embryo called ectoderm. It's literally one of 3 leaves representing the embryo body. And on the 4th week of the embryo development, this ectoderm started to change, and inner leaf of this ectoderm starting to grow inside the embryo, forming this beautiful tree, contacting each cell in the body And we call it the nervous system. And external leaf of this ectoderm, it's just covering the embryo body, becoming the skin. But skin and nervous system, they're still the same. They're sharing the same biochemical language. They're using absolutely the same substances to communicate. And each skin cell plays for two teams or more. And one of these teams, it's always the nervous system. For example, pigment cells are even called now neurons of the skin. When you're stressed, you are in higher risk to develop hyperpigmentation because your pigment cells react to your stress, to your brain signals. So everything affecting the skin affects your nervous system, and everything affecting your nervous system affects the skin. And that's worth to say a few words about the potential damage for the body coming from the skin damage. The recent findings showing that if your skin is wounded, if it is about 5, 7, 8, 10% of your skin is somehow damaged, your brain will react. And it can really even affect your cognitive ability. So you will think less clearly. And all dermatologists see it amongst the patients. But why it's so interesting for me as aesthetic practitioners, it is because the face has about 8% of the skin surface. And when you do the chemical peel for the full face, when you do the laser resurfacing, you affect the nervous system quite significantly. And you create not only the skin sensitivity in the affected area, you can damage the cognitive ability of the people. You can create global discomfort and really worsen the quality of the life. So it is very serious. And every time when you are thinking about some potential skin damage, should I go for chemical peel or should I go for the laser or something else? I always recommend to think about your life more generally. Are you in the good place for this kind of damage? Are you feel sure about it? And the same thing, obviously, all skin practitioners can keep in mind when they take this decision. We use different kind of sensitive skin diagnostics. Despite its being very large, we can objectivize it, at least a little. We have a special sensitive skin scale created by the same professor, Laurent Misery. I am a big fan of him. He is the biggest authority in the science about skin sensitivity. And he created this sensitive skin scale, which is quite easy to use. I always recommend to all practitioners to use it in the practice. And there are 10 simple questions, which we recommend to ask patients when you suppose you can meet some sensitivity. We formulate the question like this. In the last 3 days, have you noticed any of the, and after we ask, we name the sensation which you could notice in the last 3 days. And also we ask our patients to score the sensation from 0 to 10. When 0, it is nothing, I didn't experience it at all in the last 3 days. And 10, when yes, I experienced it 72 hours in a row, and it was so uncomfortable, I couldn't forget about it. So this 10 sensation is skin irritability, stinging, burning, sensation of heat, tautness, itching, pain, general discomfort, redness, and flushes. And after when you're doing your math, you summarize your score. When the score is up to 20, skin is resistant. No need of special treatment, no need of sensitive skincare, anything. You can go with anything you want. And very probably, you'll want to damage your skin to make it more sensitive. If you are aiming for some rejuvenation or some other treatment. If the score is from 20 till 60, the diagnosis of skin sensitivity is done. So these patients, they need a sensitive skincare. And the most important thing is not to prescribe some new products or recommend the new products. It's to forbid to use existing products. And I'm speaking from my personal experience. I am still consulting some patients sometimes, and most of them, they have sensitive skin. And most of them, they are rosacea patients. And just recently, I've seen a woman, I asked her to take a photo of her skincare, which she's been using in the last 7 days. And I've seen the huge shelf, only glycolic acid-based products. She used 7 of them, plus 3 retinol-based products. And obviously, to treat her skin sensitivity, I should forbid to use them. And it's so difficult to take some products off because people always believe, and you can recommend one magic potion to apply layering on the top of all the 7 glycolic acid serums to change the situation and to make the skin feel comfortable. But actually, it is not. The first rule about the sensitive skincare, it is minimalist. So when you prescribe the sensitive skincare, it should be a really short skincare routine. I recommend most of the time the calming cleansing mask with prebiotics based on anti-inflammatory plant extract. Also the calming sensitive skin serum. In Midder, I created this serum based on the Centella asiatica, which we buy in Madagascar, the best Centella in the world. And sensitive skin moisturizer, calming the skin and repairing the skin barrier. If you experience the skin reddening and your score is 60 or more, we'll probably go for additional treatment designed especially for the reddening skin and skin dermatosis. We call this Redapax. It's based on the mushroom extracts binding receptors of nervous system involved to this reaction of the sensitivity, because you remember, the sensitivity is about your nerves more than about your skin. But if your score is over 60, you need the medical consultation because very probably you are suffering from some skin dermatosis, or maybe this oversensitivity of the skin can be related to some another condition because, for example, patients with diabetes, they experience skin sensitivity, or immune system conditions. They are also very much related to the skin sensitivity as well. And another of recent findings about the sensitive skin, it is a finding about the microbiome. The sensitive skin microbiome is statistically different from the microbiome of resilient healthy skin. It is less diverse, it is less protective for our skin, and it contains more of pro-inflammatory bacteria, which can affect the skin, creating this chronic inflammation in the skin. And that's why it can affect dry skin and oily skin in the same time. The changes of microbiome will be slightly different, but this lack of the diversity of the microbiome and the change of the microbiome balance will be the same. What is very important for the microbiome, how microbiome thrive? Microbiome needs a free water to thrive and to maintain this health and diversity. When your skin is dry, that's absolutely impossible because our beneficial bacteria, they cannot grow in the dry environment. Same for the very oily environment. When your skin is produced too much of sebum, they are acne-causing bacteria grow in this environment and not the anti-inflammatory or calming bacteria. There's just no place for them. So it is very important to balance the skin moisturization to create the condition when your skin is able to hold more water. So we are using some kind of substances in the skincare, which can be called water magnet, which holds the water on the skin surface. The most famous one, it's a hyaluronic acid, but it can be glycerin, simple one, or aloe vera leaf juice, or carrageenan, Irish moss extract, or even ions from the thermal water. They are water holding as well. So there are a lot of beneficial substances which can be used for the sensitive skin, but remember this key finding. The skin should be well moisturized to fight the sensitivity. And what I found very interesting about the sensitive skin, even the fungi in the sensitive skin will be different. And there are a lot of fungi which can be beneficial in the healthy state. But when the microbiome is unbalanced, these fungi, they are very irritated. They are creating this skin flaking, especially the Malassezia fungi. So it is something to think about. And our new approach used for the skin sensitivity treatment is based on the new understanding of the role of the nervous system. So first thing to diagnose, and how do you feel? Are you experiencing a lot of stress? We should give this recommendation then for the best stress management, for the physical activity, for the healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, healthy sleep. It is all very important. But we recommend and prescribe some specific sensitive skincare. Previously, when we've been speaking about the sensitive skincare, we've been focusing on some anti-inflammatory substances because it was an understanding that sensitive skin is inflamed skin. Now we understand that it is much more global, so we focus on many things at the same time, including nervous system structures. So we use specific ingredients able to bind these structures on the skin to calm down the skin reactivity. Also, we focus on the microbiome, recreating the beneficial environment on the skin, moisturizing the skin, balancing the sebum production, to be able to recolonize the skin with beneficial bacteria using prebiotics and probiotics. And also, we create this minimalist skin approach, taking off all potentially irritating substances and skincare products, including exfoliant, because the over-exfoliation of the skin also damages the skin barrier, and over-exfoliation of the skin is triggering the skin sensitivity very much. There are a lot of things to do, but what I want you to remember after you listen to this episode, first of all, your nervous system and your skin are siblings, missing each other after birth and exchanging messages every minute of their life. So everything what affects your skin affects your nervous system. Everything what affects your nervous system affects the skin. So you should be very careful in the choice of products or treatments or any kind of procedures which can potentially damage your skin barrier. Another thing, then your skin should be well moisturized in the first place. When we're treating the sensitivity, the skin moisturization, the amount of the free water on the skin is absolutely crucial for the skin microbiome. And also, the sensitive skincare should be very minimalist and should not speed up the skin renewal, should not be exfoliating. So it is not about the skin surface. Probably when your skin is sensitive, you are not very happy about the skin color because it can be very uneven because of the constant redness or different kind of changes in the skin texture. But believe me, you should not use all this aggressive treatment trying to transform your skin overnight. It will not happen overnight. There are no shortcuts. So please be patient. Respect your skin. Be kind of your skin. And remember, when you are kind of your skin, you are kind to your nervous system, you are kind of your brain, and you will not only look better, you will feel better, and you will think more efficiently as well. Thank you for joining us today on the Matter Beauty podcast. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expert skincare tip. Have a question or topic you'd like for me to cover? Send me a message at podcast@mitherbeauty.com and let's keep the conversation going. Also, you can visit mitherbeauty.com and discover Matter Skincare, which I created. And if you enjoyed the show, I'd love if you left a review. It helps others find the podcast and keeps us growing. Until next time, stay healthy, stay glowing, and take care of your skin.